the change of the government could have an impact on this law even in future when this law has been passed. If like say tomorrow like some Republican comes into the government and they make some new changes, or they see that this hasn't really helped, they might make a change to this law.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in that perspective, I'm saying, I'm not sure if this is.
There is just one point I want to let you know, to all of you, okay? The point is that you have taken as is from the slides and the bullet points which we have taken, right? That bullet point, whatever I have listed in the presentation, is not everything, okay? Those are just some examples. So always remember that those are some examples. You could have more to that, okay? That was just a reiteration I wanted to make, Lavanya. Go on. So far, so good.
Okay. And then comes shareholder and their demands. So now since Obamacare has, they have introduced new health insurance exchanges, wherein, which is kind of a marketplace for everybody, wherein they can go and buy new policies. So I mean, all I could understand was this law being passed would impact the other companies' shareholders, but since I mean this is totally a new law, and the health insurance exchange would be a totally new thing that would be established, and it doesn't have a history. I couldn't understand how would it impact the shareholder and their demands. I'm not sure if this, if you could, correct me in this, Sushmita.
So who is a shareholder? Shareholder means, does this term arise here? That is the question. Okay. So see, there is a direct impact any of the insurance group. That is the right thing. Yes, there is a direct impact on the payer world, which is, payer world is nothing but your United, WellPoint, Cigna, Aetna, any Blue Cross Blue Shield. So yes, there is a direct impact on all the states. Also, the insurers or the payers who are into business at given point of time. Because this have to do all the regulation changes, and anytime you have a regulation changes with reference to any specific nature of a business, where here in this example we are talking about the healthcare, that means they are just the stakeholders, not necessarily the shareholders, stakeholders. Okay, so stakeholders have direct impact on their business. Okay. So you have to find out who are the shareholders, okay? That is something you have to research.
I mean, in this case, can you just like clarify it a little more?
For the shareholder and their demands? Yeah, see, is Aetna a shareholder?
I mean, it's just an insurance company, so, and obviously it could be a shareholder.
Who is a shareholder? A shareholder have invested money on your company. Yes. Okay. So these companies like WellPoint, Cigna, Aetna, these are stakeholders, not shareholders. Think about it. You buy a stock for Citibank, for example. So you become a shareholder in Citibank, where you have invested the money. You have invested that much of amount. So if that price goes high, you get the money Whereas if the price goes down, then you get a loss. You lose that much of money. So what exactly is your shareholder? That means you are sharing the loss and the gain. Whereas the stakeholder is somebody who is getting impacted negatively or positively. That's what it is. Okay? So these groups, what you have listed, these groups are stakeholders, not shareholders.
Okay. I mean, I know these are not the shareholders. I mean, what I've written is the health insurance exchange, which the ACA is bringing up, will impact the shareholders of these companies. I know this is not from the perspective of ACA.
No, you have it right. What the information you have presented is right. Okay, but I just wanted to make a small notation about the shareholder against stakeholders. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Go on.
And next comes the funding. The funding of ACA is directly impacted by the number of supporters for the law in the government, obviously. So if it can be funded only if the majority are for it. So the number of people who support this law will have an impact on the funding of this
okay. Good.
act.
All right.
And for the governmental leadership point, I didn't understand that, Sushmita. I mean, how would that relate to ACA?
No, so there, see, first of all, there is no influential impact over here, but you can think about it. Government leadership. Government leadership means anyone with the very high profile political person can influence the decision of ACA. That is what the question is. Can one individual can have an impact on this ACA? No. In this case, no. So there is no governmental leadership impact. So the answer is no. It's not applicable in this particular situation.
Okay. And then lobbying. I know there's a lot of lobbying involved in this. Like those people would be there are lobbyists who would be lobbying for, like, who are for this, so they would be they would look for the points to support the law, and there will be people who are against it, so they'll put for the points against the law. But I mean, apart from that,
yeah, so there is, in nutshell, if we need to understand, that means yes, this is an impacted area, right?
Right.
Then just we have to make it as a check that yes, this is a impacted area.
Okay, and like for this, all I would say is lobbying does have an impact on the law.
Yes, because you never know that what paperwork is required to get the paper moving or the ball moving. You never know that, right? So there is an impact.
Okay.
Go on.
And foreign pressures. I think this is not applicable. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The next one, there is no impact. Yeah,
the
there
foreign
is no impact.
That's not applicable, right?
Not applicable.
Okay. And then conflict in the political arena.
That would, right?
Sorry?
That would be yes. There will be an impact. There is an impact.
Yeah. This is again the same thing, right? I mean,
yes.
Like the conflicts between people who agree for it and who are against the law and all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, are you on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And then comes the economical impact. The first bullet point was disposable income. So there are like both opinions which say the disposable income might go less than what it is now. There are like both the arguments, and the other argument saying it won't. I mean, it would just benefit the disposable income. It would just make it higher, but it won't let impact negatively. So, so this is something that does have an impact on the law.
So on the higher level, if we need to say yes or no, in a bullet point, we have to say yes, there is an impact on the disposable income. But on the other hand, if we are working on this project, then this particular thing needs to be drilled down to find out that, okay, whether it is on the positive side or whether it is on the negative side, right?
Right.
Okay, yes, there is an impact. Okay, move on.
And then there is an unemployment level. The law will have an impact on persons. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, because it's showing some kind of error to me.
No, I can hear you.
Okay. This law will have an impact on the unemployment level, because if a person is unemployed and if he qualifies for the federal subsidy, then this will help the person lower the amount he pays for the insurance, because he will be qualified for the federal subsidy. So this law will have an impact on the unemployment level as well. Unemployed people.
Right.
So this would be, I mean, this would come into picture.
So that means this needs to be considered as an area of impact, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then foreign exchange rates, I think this is not applicable. I mean, is it right?
I would say it may or may not. The reason being is, I'll tell you, when the government shutdown happened, then what happened? It was a complete shutdown, right?
Right.
So in that case, if there are foreign investors in US, then the prices will go up and down from the stock market perspective. And end of the day, it can impact your foreign exchange rate. Because that means if a government is shut down, that means it will impact your foreign investors, whoever is invested in America. Now, if the investors are into problem where the government is not functioning, so government is not earning. When government is not earning, that means that investors are not getting enough money from the investment. That means globally it will bring the exchange rate down for the dollar, because the entire transactions happen in dollar, and that dollar is dependent upon your economy. So if economy is not doing great, your dollar is not doing great. So may or may not have this type of impact. So this is something dependent upon the situation that happened just a few weeks back.
Okay.
Did you get the point which I was trying to explain?
Yes, Rita.
Okay. Move on. Okay. You can type it and then we can move on.
Yeah, just I mean, just a small one. Then the interest rates. Again, like, I couldn't understand how much of this is involved in the.
For the ACO perspective, I do not see much of the interest rate and the trade traffic. Trade traffic, inflation rate, and the interest rate all is a kind of a sub part of your foreign exchange rate. You know, so if one is interrupted, they all will be interrupted. That's how it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It all tied up together.
And same is the case with foreign economic trend.
Yes.
Okay. Then general taxation issues.
There will be taxation issues. The reason being is, if let's say this ACA, Okay, Obamacare says that okay, there will be enforcement on all the states about some of the things like pre-existing condition, then providing the insurance to all the small groups and individual on the subsidized rate and all these things. If they do not buy an insurance, they have added something called the tax, 2% tax. If you do not have an insurance and you are paying taxes, you will be applicable for the penalty of 1,000 or 2,000, something like that. So if that happens, then that's a taxation impact, right?
Right, right. Okay.
So then general taxation issue, yes, there is.
Okay, got you.
Next one also will be yes.
Okay. In local economic situation and trends,
that will be impacted.
Yeah, can we again just relate this to the government shutdown and all?
Right.
Okay. Then comes the social part of this, and then the first point is ethical issues. So I could find like just very few points on this. So let me start with this. The Obamacare prohibits insurers from denying coverage to individuals due to pre-existing conditions. This is kind of a positive approach that this act would be taking.
Right.
But then there have been controversies about the death panels. And again, like how much of I mean, since there has been this controversy, it can have impact on the law. It can have a negative impact on the law.
The impact is not necessarily always impact is not always about negative side of the story. Impact is an impact, okay? That could have a positive as well as the negative side. So when you are analyzing, you don't have to always try to find out the negative side of the story. You also have to try to understand positive side of the story too. Because think about it, when you are working on the project and somebody says do the impact analysis, that means find out if this is feasible or not. If this is feasible, then what will be the pros and what will be the cons. So without understanding the pros, you can't understand the cons. Okay, so if you don't know the good side, then there is no point of knowing the bad side. So this analysis also, it's not about just finding the negative side of the things. It's finding both sides of the story. Okay, so whatever you can gather during the analysis, you should gather.
Okay.
That's what the analysis means.
Right. So I would say this would, I mean, this would have an impact. So be it positive, this would have an impact. So this is something that needs to be looked into.
Yep.
And then the other point being major world events. So I'm not sure about this again.
Why economic recession can be? I'm just not understanding the gist of it over here in this. Means you are talking about world recession. I'm not sure, means I get this point straight, what you're trying to ask. Can you be little specific about this? So you have a major world event. Okay, so the major world event means anything happening in the world which can impact this. That is what over here.
Right.
So not sure if the economic recession can be considered as one. So economic recession where? Overall? Globally are you talking?
Yeah.
See, when it is a global recession, then there will be, because then people will be opposing, whoever is living without an insurance, why would they go and just get the insurance, right? Whether it is a subsidized rate or whether it is a regular rate.
Right.
That's very less likely to happen at this particular level, because this legislation is more specific to USA. This legislation is not passed by World Health Organization. If it is coming from World Health Organization, that means everyone, all the countries under the same umbrella. But this is not coming from there. This is coming from our United States federal regulation.
Right.
So it's out.
Okay. So I would say this is not applicable.
Applicable, yes. Buying access, not applicable. Shift in population, very much possible. Because I'll tell you, there was one point of time New York had a very good services given by the New York government. So what used to happen is people used to migrate to New York just to get those benefits. So let's assume that in ACA there are, out of 50 states, okay, 20 states are in favor, rest all are not in favor. Then what will happen? People from other states will relocate to the states where the government is in favor, because it impacts everything, right? What taxes you are paying, what insurance you are getting, what benefit you are getting. So if you think from the family perspective, there could be a population shift. So it could be. Not very major, but there will be some impact. Okay, let's move on.
And then comes the point demographics. I had read in some article that younger people might face reduced in disposable income as compared to older people. So this might lead to resistance and criticism that can affect, that can have impact on this.
Possible, yes. Right.
Then comes the health. I mean, so this is all about health insurance. So I mean, I didn't really know what exactly to put.
No, that's fine. Just take it off, because this project itself is all about health. That's why I said that, see, whatever bullet points you have in the slide, that not specific to one particular project, that's all the major points which you can think of in a versatile mode. It's not specific to one particular project, okay? So not necessarily everything what you have is going to be applicable over here.
Right.
But good, go on.
So then comes the consumer opinions and attitudes. So there have been a lot of arguments, and there are people who do not support ACA. So and like many people consider it as intrusion of government into private enterprise. So this kind of attitude of the people will definitely have an impact on ACA. So
there is an impact.
This will have an impact. So and then the next point is views of media. So media will definitely have an impact, because this because mainly it has the ability to determine what is on the forefront of the discussion. So, and ultimately what will be given the most attention.
Right. So see, view of a media is a view of a common man. What it is. Okay, so what is coming to the media is a view of a common man. So if a common man is opposing it, then view of a media would be opposing that law. If they are in favor, then the view of media will be in favor. That's how it goes. So most of the time, if you watch the debates or any those kind of a discussions on the open forum or that live debates, you will find that it's what is a common man thought about that particular law or a topic, and that's what they present. They take their opinion, they reach out to people, they open up some blog, forum where people go and blog around, they post their comments on the forum, and from there media picks up that, okay, out of 100%, how many people are responding? Let's say 60 people are responding, so 60% population is responding to that, reacting to that. Out of 60%, what is the percentage which is in favor and which is in opposing that? So let's say 40% of the people opposing it, and how much? 60 I said. 20% of the people are in favor. So it's a very obvious poll that 40% of the people who are opposing it, so the majority are opposing this law. So that becomes view of a media. So there is an impact. Go on.
Law changes affecting social factors. I didn't really understand much of this point. I mean, this is going to be the new law, so, and it will have an impact on the majority of the people. So, didn't really understand what it means.
See that when it says a social factor is, think about it. You are thinking from one individual person perspective, then is that individual person getting impacted by that socially? Yes, they are. Because now socially they are getting accepted. How they are getting accepted? Because so far they were getting rejections by the insurance companies for their pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
Right? Now they will be accepted. So there is a social impact because of this law.
Right. And then change in lifestyle.
Not applicable.
I know some. Sorry?
It's not applicable.
It's not applicable.
Yeah, but you were saying something. First, go on.
I was saying like change in lifestyle, meaning when, I mean, I have read articles about the disposable income going low for some people. So it might have I felt it might have an impact on the lifestyle of a person. So I thought this, I mean, though not considerable impact, but this could have little impact on as a whole.
Change in lifestyle.
So I mean, that's the reason I didn't put it as like not applicable.
You can have it, but again, this is kind of a population, but it is going to have an impact, but the impact will be so minimal, which is means noticeable, you know, in that case. So if the impact is very negligible, you can live with it. Okay, because the population level, if you see, it is a big population level, so it's not going to have such a big impact on that. So it would be very negligible. So if it all depends on how do you want to pose it. You want to say that, okay, yes, it would be, but it would be very negligible, or you want to just say not there. It's all up to you. How do you want to put it?
Okay. And then comes the brand preferences. I feel this is not applicable. Okay. And then the working attitude of people.
Now tell me something. The brand preferences, this ACA is going to have any impact? Think about. There is Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, so many companies. Does ACA is going to have any impact? From the brand?
I too had the same thing in mind, but then I felt that, I mean, this is totally coming new into the market. I mean, this is totally new, so this hasn't got a history behind it. So, I mean, it has to establish itself first in order to have a positive following, I would say.
Okay, now I will give you some facts, and based on that you will give me the answer. The fact is that all these health insurance companies have a brand value. You agree to it? Like Aetna have its own brand, Cigna have its own brand, Emblem, WellPoint, Blue Cross Blue Shield, each individual have its own brand. Right? Now, this ACA is just a law which is going to have a major impact in all these brands. And based on that law, they all are going to create new plan, new policies, new health insurance plan, where they are going to allow people who have pre-existing conditions. They are going to create new plans which will have some premium.
Right.
When they are going to have a premium, then what? They all are going to ask for the same flat premium, or they are going to differ? The premium is going to differ by the brand, right?
Right.
So when the premium is going to differ by the brand, then that's where people will lean more about where you have more benefit and less premium.
Right. Right.
So that becomes your brand preference.
Right. Gotcha.
Sometime, let's say there is a new health insurance company in the market, okay, doesn't have much of the name, but offering health insurance on a very low cost. Are people are going to go right away with them? No.
No.
So in that case, the brand preference is there. So there is an impact on this.
Okay. Gotcha.
See, conceptually you need to understand, okay, that was the whole purpose of having you guys go through these case studies, so that you understand the purpose of and understand the intrinsic information and able to process that. Now see, I don't know how much time you guys have spent on this. So much of in-depth analysis, in-depth data you have gathered. Exactly this is what you're going to do as a business analyst. Okay? So go on, Shiv.
Then there is working attitude of people. Again, I mean,
I don't see that getting impacted by that, because the audiences are altogether different, so I don't see an impact.
Right. And I mean, I've seen like articles wherein they have said, I mean, it comes into the ethical point of this law, saying the healthcare providers, healthcare professionals should be doing their job in a correct way and all. But I mean, again, this is something subjected to. I mean, I believe they are doing their job. So
isn't it the social responsibility? It's already captured.
Right.
Right? So that's covered over there.
Okay. So I mean, we can say this is. I mean, since this already has been included, not to give much thought to this point, is it?
Right.
Okay. And then education. One thing, I mean, I felt was, I mean, educating people about this, about the benefits and of this law would be one thing probably, is what I felt.
To be an impact from the training perspective, where you need to reach out to people, advertise about it, that okay, what exactly benefit they are going to get under this law, then only people will understand value of it, right?
Right.
So yes, there will be an impact.
Okay. Then trends. Doesn't really, I mean, I don't really.
I see the aspect of trend over here under this particular project, because this is new law, right? So there is no trending available for this.
Right, right.
So this is not applicable.
And same as with history, I believe.
Yeah, so there is nothing.
Okay. Then moving on to the technological aspects of this. Now from here, I couldn't get much of, much into detail of this. I couldn't get much of information on this. Maybe.
See, I'll tell you the technological side, what is the impact. All the system needs to be changed, needs to be upgraded from the payer and the provider perspective. It's more from the payer, more from the insurance company perspective, because they are the ones who have all the members, all the patients' benefits, like okay, what will be covered, what will not be covered. Also their team needs to understand, their sales database needs to be updated. So there is a technological impact and a major impact because they have to upgrade their system to accommodate this law, right?
Right.
So in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Let's jump on to the another one.
And then is, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I could put together, I mean.
Okay. Job to Lavanya. Now let's hear Shilpa. I'm going to make her the presenter. Shilpa, you are good now? Any question for her?
No, I got warmed up.
Good. Okay. Okay.
I mean, mine is pretty concise. Affordable Care Act is a pretty big topic right now. So I just tried to summarize the points and, basically categorize them according to the Pestal analysis. And I mean, politically, with the government shutdown and the Republicans opposing the law, and then government policies having been changed. So all this is the political analysis of the act.
Okay.
And then economically, it's I think basically the average person contribution towards insurance increases. And I mean, I personally am not in favor for the law. So I think I chose all the negative points to go under the economical. So in the insurance premiums, I have already been increased by the employers. For next year, they've already sent out the premiums, which is much more than last year's. So so I think the average household is being affected more with this plan.
Right.
And technologically, I think it's positive for technological aspect because the meaningful use information can be exchanged across all the healthcare centers a person goes to. So I think that's a positive point about this law.
That's right.
And then socially, I mean, I just Googled this, and then it says that younger people who are really don't need health insurance may not benefit from the law, from the act, and healthcare providers may need to be changed as per this act. If a healthcare provider, the person usually takes service. So basically, I mean, if I'm going to if I've been going to see a same physician every year, and then with this new plan, I don't have that physician anymore. So it's like you don't have that trust and building up with a new physician. So I think socially that would be a major impact.
Right.
And then environmentally, like in case of environmental hazards, I don't know how the plan would really work. And then so people who were not directly affected may also possibly have to pay more for the premiums and for the policies. because the insurance company has to, just have a balance of spending.
So
I guess.
environmental, elaborate little more to that the environmental which you are explaining.
I was just thinking, like, if there is a tornado, or like if with Katrina, the one city was devastated. So I don't know how this plan would work in such a situation.
So moreover, you are saying that, okay, how the insurance companies are working in the disaster situation? What is the disaster recovery plan for them?
Yeah.
In terms of providing
with this new plan, I was just thinking that maybe they raise the premiums on the other people. So I don't know. I just thought that was a valid point.
Trying to understand your viewpoint. Okay, that's what I'm trying to understand too. Okay, so what was your viewpoint when you was thinking from the, see, there could be, all of us can have a different viewpoint to understand the same thing.
So what I thought was, in case of an environmental hazard, how this plan would affect the recovery from the disaster.
Okay, so it's more from the disaster recovery perspective. Now I'll tell you something here. We are talking about the overall act, right? We are not talking about an individual organization, whether it is Aetna, Cigna, or any other company. You agree to that? So we are talking about the good and the bad side of the overall act, and if before we put this act into a law, okay, that is what we are trying to find out, whether the impact is going to be good or impact is going to be bad. So environmentally, I don't see an impact, because whether this act is there or not, what this act is doing, this act is just adding some extra benefits for the common person, for the special population. So environmentally, okay, I want to hear if you disagree with me. I want to hear that, okay, because that is what the kind of a discussion I am looking for. So environmentally, I think the way they are doing a business today, the way they are handling, the organizations are handling their disaster recovery, and they too also they are going to handle in the same way. I don't see any changes in their disaster recovery process because of this Affordable Care Act. Do you agree or not?
Yeah, I do.
So then there is any.
I do. In environmental, I just could not think of anything, so I just put the.
No impact. So see, as I said earlier, what you have is these are the areas of expansion for the analysis. You could have one project where you just have one area of impact. Other project you have two areas, like you have economical and technological. Another project you just have social impact. Another project you have all. So this is everything what you see here. But in every project, not necessarily you are going to have all the areas impacted. Okay?
Right.
So environmental, I don't see anything. Unless Lavanya have anything to add. Okay.
And legally, small businesses are cutting on employee hours as they cannot afford to pay for the healthcare coverage for the employees. So, the average pay is affected and the job market is suffered.
Can you elaborate this?
Because the company has to pay for the insurance of the employee, right? So as per this act, with the premiums raised and small businesses like, with employees of maybe less than 50. So they can't afford to pay all the insurance of their employees. So they're cutting down on the hours, because if they work a full 8-hour day, I think they legally they're obliged to pay for the healthcare coverage. So they're cutting down on the hours, so they don't have to pay as much. So basically, the employee is suffered because they're cutting down on their hours.
Absolutely correct. So yes, so well done both of you. Okay, so this was really, now as you see here that both have their own way of analyzing the data. You both expanded their own pace, their own areas. Some topics are exactly way away from each other. So that analysis, even though you most of the time you both all would have read through the similar kind of information through Google, but still the way you presented that, the way you explained it, it was completely different, right? So this is what your discussion is going to be all about. This is what people are looking for. So how it will work in a real-time situation. No one will tell you to do a Pestal analysis on Affordable Care Act. Okay, they will tell you to go and do the analysis related to this. Okay, or maybe if they have to go very specific, they will say, can you check the legal impact of this? So now you know in legal how detailed you can go to find out the legal impact of this particular work. And this is what happens in the real-time world when you are working as a business analyst. So any topic is given to you and you will be asked to analyze that particular piece of work. Maybe it is just an email, maybe it is just one link which is on the government website, and you need to read and you need to explore about that. You need to find out the chunks and pieces that each and every branching, and you have to explore it, you have to analyze it, and then you have to find out the impact of it. This is what we do as a business analyst when we are working on the floor and we are working actively on a project. So we all are good with that?
Yes.
Good. Now, next. Previous class, what did we go over?
Business analyst techniques.
Okay. We did the business analyst techniques. Now I'm going to talk about, there is something called, hold on, a very important topic. First let me make a presenter. Okay. Now, in the BA world, there is something called PM-BA relationship. Okay, and this is a very big topic, which we are going to do start off today, but we'll finish up in the next session. Now, as I said, it is PM-BA relationship.
Sorry to interrupt, Sushmita.
Mm-hmm.
When would we be doing those activity diagrams and practicing? I mean,
I was hoping to do it today.
Okay.
But since I looked through the presentation which you guys had put together, so I felt that that would be good exposure to do it today itself and finish off with that case study. And by doing that, we covered the discussion part of it. The discussion is like how you do the roundtable conference, how you call the people, that is something called JAD. Okay, even though people do not use this terminology very often, it's just internet terminology, but still I wanted to have that so that you get an exposure of how people explain, how BA is explaining its own work to the audience, and how people are reacting to that, how someone can correct you over there. Okay, so all these things happens. Whatever you are writing, okay, whatever you are analyzing, those things can come up. But on the other hand, there are people who are going to correct you. So don't think that what you have written is 100% foolproof document. No one is perfectionist, okay, no one. So it's very important that the document which you are preparing, that document should be understandable from others' point of view, not from your point of view, because you know what you are writing, but others need to understand what you have written. So people do sometimes recommend that, okay, can you just change this statement and make it in this way, so they will read, and or they will just guide you, they will speak, and you have to write exactly the way they are saying it. Okay, even though what you have written is right, but they want you to change it, you have to change it. And it's not like that they are trying to just put you down or something like that, that, oh, you don't know English, something like that. No, they do it so that everyone can understand the same sentence. Sometimes everyone have a different way of writing and presenting the data in a different way, presenting the paragraph in a different way. They just want to use a statement so that they and others, they all are on the same page and they all understand the same thing. So that thing is very common to happen in the business. So that was the piece which I wanted to cover. So since I saw you guys did a great job by putting together your analysis, it was full, it was complete. That's why I thought of, let's go ahead and share your work, and then we will have more sessions like this where you will be asked to present your work. And same thing, when you will do the Visio, after Visio also you will be asked to present your work, whatever we did, the class diagram, the activity diagram, sequence diagram, all these, which are the most common ones, we are going to do it. Okay? So we just have 10-15 minutes more for today's class, so I thought that why not just take up another topic which is short. This topic can go maybe 2 to 3 hours, you know, PMBA relationship. Now, why a project manager and the business analyst relationship is so important. The PM and the BA relationship, it is important because if you see, there is a need where the PM and the BA needs to work hand in hand. Okay, so whatever PM is doing it, BA have a direct impact, and whatever BA is doing it, PM have a direct impact. And what do you mean by direct impact? They are just working for the project, right? So think about it. PM is on the another meeting, BA is on the another meeting. Now in the BA's meeting, something came up as a very high alert, as a big risk for the project. Now BA doesn't communicate that to a PM. Then what happens? PM is unaware of that his project plan is impacted by a big risk. On the other hand, what BA does, BA have documented that risk, but it's not shared with the project manager. So his cost, budget, everything is impacted, which BA should have communicated that. So it is very important that PM is aware of each and every activity. Let's say there is some conflict between the two stakeholders and they are just fighting for their requirements. Fighting in that, those type of fights does happen, okay? Those type of disagreements are there, where what a PM is, what a stakeholder 1 is saying, the stakeholder 2 is not in agreement with that. Okay, sometimes even though they are very good friends, but sometimes the discussion gets into so nasty discussion, in the not nasty in the sense they don't start saying bad things to each other. Nasty in the sense that no matter what you do today, we are not going to agree. That kind of a discussion. Then you as a BA, what you do? You as a BA, make sure you understand and make note of both sides of the story. You take the pros and cons of the stakeholder 1, pros and cons of the stakeholder 2, and then bring back that information to the project manager and update the project manager to make sure he is aware of the insight, what is happening on the floor, what happened during the meeting. Once that project manager is updated, then you can ask that I am not sure how to resolve that issue, because who is the decision maker. Then maybe PM will say, okay, I will talk to the project sponsor or the senior director to see that how can we have an agreement on this. Then PM will take that initiative. He may reach out to the director or the senior director or whoever is the project sponsor who is providing the fund for that project, and then they all try to set up a consensus between both the stakeholders to make sure they all agree to the same. If they are getting into an agreement, that means your project manager plan is going smooth, your business analyst requirement is going on a smooth way. So as you see, just by doing a clear communication between these two parties, you both are able to gain more confidence and also move the project on a smooth basis. Otherwise, it will be a very big risk if you have a communication flow between these two. Major gap can come for the project, and which can negatively impact your project, where your project can be just completely shut down. Now, another thing is behavioral relationship. Behavioral relationship is in the sense of, let's say your PM is relying a lot on you. So even though the work needs to be done by the project manager, but he or she is asking you to take a leadership on that. That happens, okay? Where maybe he is looking for some report and he has to present some report, and he is asking you or she is asking you that, okay, can you do that report for me? Even though that's not your responsibility, but you shouldn't be saying no to that, because what will happen, that will create conflict of interest, okay? That will create conflict between the project manager and the business analyst. Why you don't want to create a conflict inside the team? Because you are working on one project, okay? This is a project team where once the project is done, you all will go to different areas, different projects. So if you do a good job, if you are having a good relationship with your project manager, he is working as a marketing representative for you. And I'll tell you how. Whichever project he will go, he will talk highly about you. He will appreciate your work. He will appreciate your effort. He can say that, okay, even though it was not the BA responsibility, but still this girl or that guy did an awesome job presenting this data, providing this data, okay? So all these things they can share. So that means they are creating a marketplace for your next assignment. That means even though the people who have not worked directly with you now started knowing that, okay, who is Shilpa, who is Lavanya, they worked on that ACA project and they did an awesome job. Because the Paul is a manager who is talking about, very highly talking about that particular business analyst. So now, even though internally you are not liking your project manager, but still that person is spreading good words about you. So there are multiple reasons. Team building. Why you should have a good team? Because the positive attitude towards the work can keep the positive energy in the project, which is very important. Because if two people are not liking each other, that happens, that happens. Then they try to avoid communication with each other. When they try to avoid communication with each other, that means there is a very big chance that you are going to miss some kind of a communication which needs to be communicated, but you did not communicate just because of your internal clashes. So all these small things, end of the day, if you see the impact of it, it could lead up to a very big impact. And that is why you don't try to have all these type of conflicts come into the team, come into the project. You try to keep it away. Okay? So it will impact your work. Think about it. There is some decision taken on a higher level which got communicated to your project manager. Now you are going to a meeting where your project manager is not coming. Now the stakeholders heard some high level noise that okay, some decision is taken whether this project is going to get continued or not, but you have no clue about it. Now they are asking you, you are unanswerable, you don't have any answer for that. That is not good, because your project manager responsibility, see, it works both ways. So your project manager was socially responsible to providing that information to you before you going for that meeting. Because when you are, now another side you are going to write the requirement, but the communication is that this project is not going to be continued. That is not good symptom for the project, because where the project manager have not communicated this information to a BA. So stakeholders are asking that, okay, what happened? Are we going to proceed with this project? Are we going to writing the requirements for this? Or you will say, yes, yes. Whereas one of the stakeholders says, no, I heard that the project did not get the fund approved. Project have no money to sponsor this. Then you are not able to answer that. You have no answers because your PM did not give you any update that okay, the project have no funds, so there is no project. So it works both way, where both have to share the information. Okay, it's both sided, many to many. Many things your PM will rely on you, many things you will rely on your PM. That is what your PM-BA relationship is. Now ask your questions. This will happen on day-to-day basis. Now go on. Any question? No question? Okay. If no question, then we conclude for today. Next class, I want you guys to be ready with the Visio installation. Did you guys do the Visio installation, both of you?
I did. Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
Okay. So great. So next class we are going.
I just have a request for Saturday's class. Can we have it in the morning?
Saturday morning I won't be able to take, because Saturdays what time?
I don't know, early morning, maybe around 7.
Actually, I take the classroom classes on Saturdays. That is the problem. Okay.
Okay. So that's the only time on Saturday at 8:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are unable to make it?
No. I mean, this Saturday is fine, but it's like
okay, so then next we will try to do it on Sunday then. So we'll.
How about Sunday morning? Can you do it on Sunday morning?
Do you really think that? I need some time too, right?
I mean, not early in the morning. Maybe around 9.
I will see if my schedule allows. I will look into that. Okay. Just remind me about that. I will see if everyone available. I will see if my schedule allows. Then I will also do it. Okay. Just for you. It's all about.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks. Good one.